Hey everyone, Ryan here, or MandRproductions, and welcome to my review of the LEGO Star Wars 2025 Darth Maul Mech, set number 75411 with 143 pieces. It's got a ridiculous retail price of $18, although that price is apparently influenced by tariffs. It was supposedly originally supposed to cost $16, but now costs $2 more. But the funny thing with mechs is Star Wars mechs already cost $1 more than they should, so this one's really $3 more than it should be. It's a whole thing. So keep the price in mind very heavily with this one as we go through the review. But the box art is really cool. Season 7 of the Clone Wars just there is really awesome. The back of the box shows Darth Maul out of his mech along with his probe droid, shows off the ability to attach things to the mech's back. And I think this box could really do with a "Have you seen me, Darth Maul's pupils" advertisement, because where are they? They're nowhere to be found on the box. So we'll discuss that after unboxing. Cutting into it, you're going to find your regular old instruction manual, 3 numbered bags, and a couple of lightsaber blades outside of the bags. When it comes to the Darth Maul minifig, if it's for a little kid, it's Darth Maul, it passes the test. We got that. All right, so if you're more interested in the nuances of the minifig, however, there's a lot more to unpack here. We've got the dual-bladed lightsaber, great. We've got the same great horn piece that they've been really using since 2011, I believe. But then we get into the bad change. We've got the eyes here, and it's basically the removal of the pupils. It just looks horrible. It looks like he's been zombified. I am not a fan. You can print that. And if it weren't for that, this would be a perfect Darth Maul minifig, because you've got the open shirt where you can see a lot of the detail on his torso in red there, and you've got a lot of other great details throughout the fig. And this is basically the same fig as 2021. You'll notice the leg print is much brighter on the newer version, which I didn't expect, but they've gone and removed the pupils so they can save $32 on ink every year, and so this figure is unfortunately ultimately a downgrade. When it comes to the probe droid, I actually quite like the design. I think it really well represents what you see in universe, other than the backside being open and not closed off with black, just so that it can attach to the back of the Darth Maul mech. So kind of a trade-off there, but I really like it from the front on. It looks really cool. It's really interesting because just last year they introduced a different Darth Maul probe droid design with the Sith Infiltrator, mostly constrained by the fact that it had to fit in and deploy out of the build. So it's definitely a much different design because of that. So I actually quite like what they got going on with the mech here. Just, yeah, not a fan of the open back. I feel like for the price, this is the type of set that absolutely should have a second minifig. There are other licensed mechs that include 2 minifigs. Why this set does not have a Qui-Gon Jinn or Ahsoka Tano for Darth Maul to fight is beyond me. It could have also included an updated Savage Opress just because. But of course, LEGO Star Wars leaves all of that on the table in search of higher profit margins. That brings us to the mech, and at this point, we're in our 3rd year of LEGO Star Wars mechs, so I feel like you kind of know what you're getting into at this point, and it is a downside of mechs and their existence in the LEGO Star Wars lineup. There's not a lot of diversity you can have within the build, other than, of course, the color scheme, but with microfighters, where you're kind of buying for the same deal if you're a collector like me, you're getting a nice, unique build along with the figure, and the mechs are going to be a lot of the same thing time over time, just with a different color scheme, which is okay. Like, there are certainly things I do like that definitely follow that pattern, but I don't know. The mech, because I'm already not like a huge fan of it, yeah, it's definitely weird. But anyway, looking at the back first, you've got plenty of open studs where you can place the probe droid, and it fits on nicely. As we saw during the minifig section, it pops out ever so slightly there, kind of peeks over. I kind of like that, like having that over-the-shoulder look, even though maybe that's not its actual eye, whatever. But like, it definitely feels like it's looking over Darth Maul's shoulder, which I like. We've also, of course, got the clip down here in red. It's very well built into the design where it's held in a very strong way, so you don't really have to worry about the lightsaber pulling the clip out or anything when you go to pull it out. But there we go, drop the lightsaber on there, and you can see it's a nice clip, a good function, works well, and when you go to pull it out, comes out just fine. So with this lightsaber on the back now, if you want to place Darth Maul inside of the mech, you just pull down this top section, much like the previous LEGO Star Wars mechs worked. You've got this piece in here, which a lot of collectors use to not crack the heels on their minifigs, so they don't want to place them on studs. Really, LEGO could have used studs here. It's kind of interesting that they don't, actually, to me. I also like the use of the jumper plate behind there, by the way, to reinforce the strength of that so that you can't just knock it off. So really like that. But anyway, just place Darth Maul's legs around that piece, lift that back up and into position, and there he is. I think it obviously looks pretty good with Darth Maul in there. Thankfully, the 2x2 tile on the chest is printed. Definitely one that looks absolutely gorgeous there. And as far as other details, everything else is represented with brick-built stuff. There's no other prints, no stickers, nothing of the sort. So yeah, that's the one lone print there. You've got the lightsaber. It's nice. It can spin in his hand because it's on a nice Technic piece. So that's kind of cool. If you want to remove it, you can just pull it out of his hand, but then you just kind of are left with the empty Technic piece there. It is not mirrored in the other hand, so it is made for the lightsaber to only be in that hand. I guess unless you just flip the build and put that piece on that side, but you know, as built, that's how it is. And then as far as posability is concerned, things are pretty straightforward. You've of course got the fingers like you saw moving around. The shoulders have some movement to them, but not the elbows. Like that's just a fixed joint. And you'll see the same thing on the legs with the knees. Again, fixed joint, but at the hips, you've got a ball joint, and then again at the feet. So I think the articulation is adequate, and it's not overdone to where it's like difficult to get it to stand in a nice pose or something like that. Like I always hate when a figure would have too many points of articulation, or an action figure, really, not really. I guess the Lego construction figures are a good example of that, where there's just so many joints that it gets annoying to try to pose properly. I don't know. I'm not huge into action figures, so I don't really like any of it, but you know, we'll go with that. But I do like the simplicity of this, and especially as a play toy, it will retain a lot of strength. The one issue I would say is these pieces are a little easy to dislodge. But other than that, everything else on it feels really strong. Frankly, unless you're a completionist Lego Star Wars collector or really love mechs, I don't see a reason to buy this one. It's overpriced, and the Darth Maul doesn't bring anything new to the table. In fact, it's simply just a downgrade with the lack of pupils. And at that, it's from only a few years ago in a set that was not much more expensive, $2 more expensive than this set's retail price. So it's not like this set is making a figure really easy to get that hasn't historically been really easy to get. And there's another Darth Maul currently available in Sith Infiltrator. There's another Darth Maul available in the 25th anniversary Lego Star Wars Visual Dictionary. So there are also other Darth Maul options out there. I just don't see the real value in this one for a collector at $18. As a kid's toy, it's always going to bang. We can acknowledge that, but yeah, it's not something that I think most people should be running out to buy. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and you can check out more Lego Star Wars 2025 set reviews on the end screen now.